born during a global pandemic. For the first few months of her life, we couldn't leave the house. Seeing anyone felt like a risk with a newborn baby. And like any new parent, we wanted more than anything to protect her. But once our lockdown ended, we slowly started to venture out again. We have learned to appreciate this freedom. It was the first time, like many of us, it had ever been taken away. We missed the little things, like going to our favorite cafes, sipping on a good cup of coffee, and enjoying a toasty together. We missed bigger things too, like community, family, and friends. How strange it was to go so long without hearing the pleasant chatter of people around us. Being able to be out in the little nature we have in Dubai again has also brought such a sense of peace to our souls. Now that the weather is getting nicer, we decided to revamp our balcony and bring some of that nature back with us. So we stopped by our nursery to pick out a few plants for the space. I was in my element, and it appears Freya was too. This pandemic has reminded us how precious life is, and to never take it for granted. So I think we can all agree that the last 6 months were nothing like any of us expected them to be. Freya was born about, exactly like 6.5 months ago. She was born on the 8th of March. And that's kind of when things started to happen, at least where we live in Dubai. So she was born on the 8th of March, and then 2 weeks later, we went into lockdown. They slowly kind of started implementing it with like a curfew, and then eventually we needed permits to leave our house. So that's how what Freya was born into. Slowly we were able to go outside again. Like I remember being able to go for a walk with Freya and that felt incredible. I was like, oh my gosh, we're outside. But we also went from winter months into summer months during that lockdown. So it was getting so hot. So in summer in Dubai is pretty intense. What are the high temperatures here?
In Celsius, it'll easily get to 50.
Yeah.
Which is like 115, 120.
Yeah, so it's pretty intense in the summer. So like Freya was waking up really early in the morning, so we'd be able to go for like a morning walk. And then the pools eventually opened up again, so we'd go to the pool in our development, and Freya loves to swim, and I love to be in the water, so that was really nice. We weren't able to see our family other than my sister. No one's met her, besides my sister, from our families. And also that she hasn't been able to get like that grandparent love and aunt and uncle love, and so I kind of feel bad that she's missing out on that extra love. But I think we did an all right job loving her.
Hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's been very strange, but it's been good. It's been really nice to be able to watch Freya develop almost in kind of like a bubble, if that makes sense. So we've really been able to like focus in on her.
Yeah.
And not actually, get too preoccupied with doing things and going places and all of that. So we've really had an opportunity to like watch her develop and watch her grow.
Yeah.
And she's changed so much.
So much. Over 6 months. It's amazing to watch their development from basically not being able to do a single thing But now to see where she's at now, she's like the milestone she's hitting, like she's sitting up on her own, she's rolling, and then she's eating solids now. We've been doing baby-led weaning with her, which has been really fun. She's hilarious. I think like my favorite part is the faces that she pulls.
Yeah, all the little faces, and it's too funny.
Yeah, she was pulling one last night and she was just like, her whole face was like, oh, I think she was eating strawberries.
Yeah, she was eating strawberries.
It was really cute. So I think like parenthood for new parents who've had babies during lockdowns definitely looks different from other like new parents. I think this is like a unique time to be parents. You're kind of raising your children for the first at least 6 months or so by yourself, and you don't have that many people around you, so it can be challenging in the sense that I think for me, like, it had the potential to be really lonely, and I think there were times where I felt maybe a bit lonely, but like I said, like the highlight was having Bruce around so much, and I think you were saying just being able to like really focus on Freya and have that quality time together. I don't know, what would you say is like challenging and like positive about this time?
I was expecting a lot more challenges in there, where I was expecting to have these sort of sleepless nights, and you hear horror stories. People always tell you, the stories of how their child was up screaming for hours and all that kind of stuff, and you're going to be so tired, and I was expecting almost to feel more pressure on myself to be a good dad and all these kinds of things. I was expecting a lot from myself before having Freya. But then after she was born, it was a lot easier. It almost was kind of like, felt natural.
Yeah.
I think becoming a dad, it isn't something that you have to learn from scratch. There's the stuff that's already built in. I think we are made to want to care for our offspring.
Yeah,
it's like
designed that way.
Yeah, exactly. I heard a lot of dads say like, oh, it's amazing, you're gonna love being a dad. And I was like, yeah, I've been around kids before, like, both of us come from big families with lots of kids. We have lots of nieces and nephews, and I was like, yeah, I've been around kids before. It's gonna be, almost kind of expected it to be similar, kind of like the way I feel about my nieces and nephews and that kind of thing. I thought it would be like that, just maybe a little bit more. But yeah, it really is an incredible experience. Even the birth process, it really is surreal. And it's something that looking back on, you realize how impactful it was and how much it actually means to you and how much it's changed you. So I've just loved watching the process of us being a married couple without kids to now being a family. I've loved watching that, and I've loved watching Freya learn about the world.
She's so cute.
She just loves life.
Everything is a new experience for them. Like, what would that be like to have like every new experience for you? And she's just like a happy baby, and it's just like so rad that we get to be her parents. Like,
it's true.
Like, we're her mom and dad. And sometimes I think that when I look at her, like, I'm your mama. Like, I'm like, that's so rad. Like, I love being her mama. And I think something that for me, like, your instincts kick in as like a father and as a mother. Like, your instincts are so strong. That moment when Freya was like handed to me after I pushed her out, I was just like in awe. Like, this is my baby. And there was a moment Bruce went to drop off Hannah, my sister, home, and I was literally alone with Freya for, I don't know, like 30, 45 minutes. There was a moment that I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, they've given me this baby. Like, I have experience with babies, and I had a moment where I felt like, oh no, what if I'm not gonna be a good mom? And that really scared me to have that feeling and that moment. And then she stopped crying and she settled, and I was like, actually, maybe I got this. And then I did. We like figured it out. And whenever there was something we didn't know, we could ask a friend, or we could just figure it out, and it was fine. So I think like your instincts are so key, and like even if you have no experience whatsoever, like you'll figure it out. And there's so many like mamas out there that are so helpful. Oh, Freya's up. Do you want to go get her? I think being new parents is such an amazing adventure. It really is like one of the best adventures. And I've loved seeing Bruce become a dad. It's just been so cool. It's like, you know this person for so long. I think Bruce and I have known each other for like 10 years now. We're going on our 7-year anniversary of being married. It's amazing to see that other person become a parent, and also like how they interact with like how Bruce interacts with Freya and stuff is just incredible. Speaking of Freya, hi. Oh, hello. I think to wrap this up, being new parents in 2020 with COVID-19 definitely has had its challenges. You get through it, you figure it out, and I think you're better for it.
Human resilience is, I think we've all learned what that feels like. To withstand a global pandemic. I shudder to think of people who've actually gotten sick, but for the rest of us, we've had to kind of band together as humankind, and even to see that on a grand scale, and then to see it on a very focused scale, which is to see Danae give birth. I've really seen how strong human beings can be, and it's just filled me with a lot of faith for the future. Even with parenting, before being a dad, I had a lot of fears and worries about I'm bringing this child into the world, and the world is messed up, and what happens when she grows up and can't protect her and all that kind of stuff. You kind of have these fears of, can I provide for her and all that, and then when you look at your child, that kind of all changes. And those things are so small in comparison to just the joy of having a little child. So it's been an incredible season. I'm just thankful that we had a distraction during a lockdown. You know what I mean?
She's definitely a distraction for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So that's kind of our 6-month recap of what's been going on. It's been interesting. It's been real, but it's been good. We're definitely happy. We're definitely gonna be making some more videos in the future. So if you like this video, give it a like. And if you want to follow along, subscribe. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. Say bye.
Bye.
Say bye. She's like, Frankie.